In the part of the world where I came from, Luxpalala Swamp was heaven. It was full of snakes, alligators, snapping turtles, kudzu. Oh, it was great. And my mama and my daddy had a wholesale candy store. That was even greater. And my granddaddy's brother, my Uncle Dave, owned the fairgrounds and built the Coliseum. Now, this is Mississippi in the 50s. African-American artists who came to the Coliseum to perform, sadly, could not eat in local restaurants. It's not that way anymore, thank God. So Uncle Dave brought them to Mama's house. And so at Mama's little drop leaf table in the kitchen, she made pork chops, biscuits, and gravy for B.B. King, Pearl Bailey, and Ethel Waters, Jimi Hendrix. And one day Janis Joplin found out about it, and Mama said, "Who's that girl with the long stringy hair?" And I said, "Mama, be nice." And Mama said, "I think she's Jewish." And I said, "Mama, I don't know. A lot of people are, and you know that's okay. Some of them are our good friends." She said, "A maid barbecue, though. I don't think Miss Joplin will care." The last person to eat at Mama's table after the white folks found out about Mama's biscuits was, what's her name? Blue. Loretta Lynn came, and then Leanne Rhymes. So I grew up in that wonderful environment. I'm still carrying around Milky Way bars that I ate, when I was a kid. And Big Mama drove mules and wagons up 3rd Avenue. And she had straw hats, and the ears of the mules went up in the hats. She sold vegetables door to door, and my best friend Jake was her grandson. And he'd come to the door and say, "Ask your mama, does she need any black-eyed peas, any butter beans, snap beans, roasting ears?" And y'all don't know what that is. That's ears of corn. Watermelon, or maybe some of this morning's cornbread. And she'd make the loop around the neighborhood, and Jake and I'd go watch Mighty Mouse. We were thick as thieves, the best of friends. And we liked to go walking out 3rd Avenue to Luxpalala Bridge. It went over Luxpalala Swamp. And Mr. Jolly had a junkyard next to the river. He was fun, too. Had a little speech impediment that made him even funnier. And so we'd take our cane poles and our worms, and we'd go out there with RC colas and sleeves of Planters peanuts from my daddy's candy store. And we'd fish off the bridge. And then when you are so full of RC cola, you can't stand it, we had a game called playing bridge. You pee off the bridge, and if you can hit a turtle, you get 50 points. And if you can hit a moccasin and make him move, you get 100 points. But if you hit a gator and he moves, you get 1,000 points. And one day, Mr. Jolly yelled across the river, "You boys, your mama wants you. Which mama is it? My mama or Big Mama? Your mama." So we go up 3rd Avenue to Mama's, and there she is. We're in the candy business. She had made a big giant Easter egg 12 inches tall out of solid sugar and hollowed out the inside and put in little ducks and rabbits and chickens. Painted them with an artist's brush. And then she had a pound cake with a pound of butter. She said, "Now, Aunt Bonnie's got ladies coming over. Now, you boys take these up there to her. She's waiting. Don't drop that Easter egg. You hear? And so we go up in the hills to Aunt Bonnie's house. She was married to Uncle Dave, who had the fairground. And so we go up and ring the bell. Only it was chimes. She was full of grace and genteel living. Mississippi. She said, "Oh, what cute boys, Jim and Jake. Y'all come on in." So we go in, and she says, "Oh, the Easter egg, and look at the pound cake." "Yes, ma'am, they're for you." She says, "Well, y'all come on in. We're playing bridge." And I look at Jake, and Jake looks at me. We didn't know anything about any kind of bridge except our game. I mean, we were all 8 years old. And I said, "Aunt Bonnie, where are you going to play bridge?" She says, "Oh, you know, on the deck up above the backyard." "Why don't you boys come join us?" "Aunt Bonnie, I don't think we ought to do that." And Jake said, "We got to get out of here." So we go out across the yard, and here comes my daddy in his 1955 GMC panel truck, baby blue, that said Lavender Candy Company on the side. And he says, "Y'all need to get in," because word had gotten around. He said, "You boys need to understand that ladies play a game sometimes every week, usually in the afternoon, at a card table with little pieces of paper with diamonds and hearts and spades and stuff on it, and it's called bridge." Daddy, you got to be kidding. No, it's true. And he taught us so many things that really only a father can tell to young boys. Jake didn't have anybody but Big Mama, and she did the very best that she could. But Daddy took care of both of us. He made sure Jake went to medical school. I'm so proud of him. He's the first of that family to have a college degree. He's getting ready to retire now from his family practice in Chicago. One day, Daddy called me on the phone. I was a Methodist preacher by that time. And Daddy said, "Son, you got to come home quick." "What is it, Dad?" He said, "I want to go fishing one more time." He was in the nursing home. He had some dementia. He said, "I want a barbecue sandwich one more time." It's called sandwich down there. So I called Jake. He says, "Yeah, I'll catch a flight." And so we met, and we took Daddy. And we went out to Luxpalala Bridge. Only it wasn't long until all three of us were full of RC Cola. And Jake says, "You know, it just occurred to me, I could lose my medical license playing bridge." And I began to think, and I said, "You know, I could be defrocked for playing bridge." And we turn around, and Daddy is in full process right in front of the world. And he said, "You boys, I wouldn't take anything for this day." It's the last time I saw my daddy playing bridge. Now, my life has been a storybook. I didn't ask for it. It just happened. I spent my young years playing with circus performers and their animals, trapeze artists and people like that, folks who ran the carnival, whoever were the roadies with the singers in the Coliseum, putting candy on the shelf at Lavender and Son. It was quite a childhood, really. We had a wonderful time. And then they began to understand that at first grade, I wasn't doing well. They didn't know about learning disabilities in the 50s. They just kind of let them happen and do what they could. Josephine Emery was my first grade teacher, and she discovered flashcards, and she taught me to read with them, and she said, let's make a story. And so we made stories. She brought a live red hen to first grade so I could learn how to spell hen and egg. And then she brought a squirrel. That was a big day. It was a big word. Josephine became one of my best friends. She went with me through 12 grades so I could get out of high school. I am dyslexic. I am ADHD. And I am autistic. I cover it up pretty well. I've learned it after 59 years of telling stories. But you see, I had one dream and only one. I wanted, because of my friendships, to become the ringmaster of the greatest show on earth. I did not talk to anybody outside the family that I didn't have to. Scared to death of people. So I'd go in the backyard and stand on the trash can. Oh, I knew the script front to back. I've been doing it for years. I'd stand there and I'd say, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, producers Irvin Feld and Kenneth Feld proudly welcome you to the 106th edition of Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, the greatest show on earth. I wanted that so bad. Brought home a baby elephant one time, got a whooping for it. Mama thought I ought to be a heart surgeon. Big mistake. But she bought me Gray's Anatomy and told me to memorize it. Now, I know how to do that because autistic people and ADHD people can do 15 things at once, just not with any depth. So I could even juggle if I needed to. I know that all of y'all have a semi-permeable endoplasmic reticulum through which passes acetylcholine and acetylcholinesterase by means of deoxyribonucleic acid. But I don't know what I'm talking about, and I don't care. But I can pronounce it because I've had phonics. So I failed the first year of college in every way. And I came home and I said, Mama, I'm going to run the merry-go-round for the summer. And she said, no, you're not. Yes, ma'am. And I sent off my high school graduation picture to this carnival company, and a letter came back. I had no idea what I was doing. That letter came back from Al Cap Enterprises. Mr. Cap wrote the Lil Abner comic strip. And at that time in my life, I looked like Lil Abner. I lifted weights to avoid social confrontation. So he said, meet me at the Peabody in Memphis. And my daddy didn't think I could find Memphis, so he took me. And there was the legendary cartoon artist. And he said, son, read this script. And I said, I can't. He said, just sign here. You're perfect. 2 weeks later, I was on the stage with custom-made overalls with one strap across the chest. I looked good. And they had made this big flip of hair in the front. I looked like Lil Abner. And so, go down on one knee, hold beautiful Daisy May, who was gorgeous, in one arm, and smile. And the overall split in half. And there I was in front of 2,500 people in an athletics supporter, holding one of the most beautiful women in America. And that's the day I got over my fear of people. I got a calling from God, and I answered it. And it is a miracle. I got into Duke University, and I got out. I've got 3 more college degrees than the high school teacher who told me that I'd never amount to anything and never graduate. After that, I'm sitting at my desk at Discovery United Methodist Church in Richmond. The phone rings. It was Irvin Feld, the owner of the greatest show on earth. He said, son, we're ready for you. I said, sir, I gave my life to Jesus. He said, yeah, you'll get over that. You come on. No, sir, it doesn't work that way. He said, I'm not calling you back. And so my friends with them started sending us animals. And they said, if you're going to be a pastor, for heaven's sakes, do something different. We did. We adopted 200 circus animals, bought a farm while running a 1,900-member church. Volunteers in the church helped out. We made children's sermons. We had 4 grown African lions trained to lie down with a lamb. Kissed tigers on the mouth, zebras, camels, llamas, and horses, giant snakes and spiders, and 6 elephants. What a time. 2 million kids we were able to reach with all volunteer help. And then we get on through all that, and we bought a kangaroo for a pet. Don't do that. Where do you get a sitter for a kangaroo when you have to go to the annual Methodist meeting? You take him with you in a beach bag. And there we are. The little old lady at the coffee stand comes over and says, "Oh, the Lavenders have a grandchild." I'm holding the bag and the bottle. She sticks her head in the bag and comes out and says, "Dear, was it born that way?" "Yes, ma'am, he was. Would you pray for us?" And she says to her friends, "The ears are 10 inches long. How's this child ever going to go to school?" And I said, "Honey, he's going to the University of Alabama and play football. You ought to see him. He can place kick a chicken now." And so I said to my wife, "Sweetheart, you have bottle-fed 27 lions, tigers, leopards, and bears in the house. What do you want for Christmas?" "Gardenia." "Where do you get it?" "Victoria's Secret." "Have I got to go there?" "Yeah." Long 3/4 length wool, mafia coat, dark glasses, hat. I didn't want to be recognized. I was the preacher. Go in there, and they'd given me a new beeper hanging on my coat. It became involved with a rack of bright red garter belts. I could not get loose for the life of me, and a lovely young lady came over. "Sir, may I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, give me loose." "What do you want?" And I said, "Gardenia." "Which one? There can't be but one." She said, "Follow me." We get to the back. She brings it out. "Wouldn't you like to see the sleep ensemble to match the fragrance?" And I said, "Maybe it's a robe. I'll look." On the end of one finger, she brings this garment. And I said, "Young lady, you could put a rock in that and kill a giant." She says, "You are that preacher." "Yes, I am." My wife smells like gardenia because of it. And the week after Christmas, at the post office box to Discovery Methodist, the Valentine Collection Catalog. Who gets it first? The secretary. Did she talk? Yeah. And the congregation had a laugh. Our life has been a story. And when I was finishing my career with The Lion and the Lamb, Roanoke, Virginia, big crowd of people on the churchyard, all done, ready to fold it after all these years, a mom and a little boy walked up, and the little boy said, "My great-grandmother was Josephine, your first grade teacher."